The familiar scent of sweat and deodorant hung in the air, mingling with the faint hint of chlorine wafting in from the nearby pool area. The room buzzed with the low hum of conversation and the metallic clangs of locker doors opening and closing. It was a scene I'd witnessed countless times before, a mundane ritual that marked the transition from exercise to the rest of my day. As I pulled my shirt over my head, an unexpected commotion caught everyone's attention. The ambient noise in the room suddenly shifted, replaced by a collective intake of breath. Curious, I turned to see what had caused the sudden change in atmosphere. A guy was casually strolling by, a white towel wrapped snugly around his waist. He seemed lost in thought, perhaps mentally reviewing his workout or planning the rest of his day. Little did he know that fate had other plans for him that afternoon. In a twist of cosmic irony, his towel snagged on a locker handle as he passed by. The soft terry cloth, which had been his only shield against the world, began to unravel. It was like watching a slow-motion train wreck. I could see what was about to happen, but I was powerless to stop it. The guy continued walking, blissfully unaware of the impending disaster. With each step, more of the towel unwound, revealing inch after inch of skin. It was a surreal moment, almost comical in its absurdity. Here was a grown man, about to be completely exposed in a room full of strangers, and he had no idea. Finally, the last bit of towel fell away, leaving him standing there in all his glory. The room fell silent as everyone stared, unsure how to react. It was one of those moments where time seemed to stretch, each second feeling like an eternity. In reality, it probably lasted no more than 5 seconds, but in that brief span, the entire dynamic of the locker room changed. I found myself frozen, caught between the instinct to look away out of respect for his privacy and the morbid curiosity that kept my eyes fixed on the scene. It was a stark reminder of our shared vulnerability as human beings. No matter how much we try to present a polished, put-together image to the world, we're all just one wardrobe malfunction away from being completely exposed. The silence in the room was palpable. You could have heard a pin drop. Everyone seemed to be holding their breath, waiting to see how this unexpected drama would unfold. Would someone laugh? Would the guy be mortified? The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. To his credit, when he finally realized what had happened, the guy's reaction was nothing short of admirable. Instead of panicking or getting angry, he burst into laughter. It was a genuine, hearty laugh that echoed off the tiled walls of the locker room. His unexpected mirth broke the tension like a dam bursting, releasing the pent-up awkwardness that had built up in those few seconds. "Well, I guess we're all a lot closer now," he joked, quickly retrieving his towel from the floor. His ability to find humor in such an embarrassing situation was impressive. It was a masterclass in how to handle unexpected adversity with grace and good humor. As he wrapped the towel back around his waist, securing it more tightly this time, I couldn't help but feel a sense of admiration for him. In that moment of unexpected vulnerability, he had shown remarkable strength of character. It would have been easy to get angry, to storm off in embarrassment, or to lash out at those around him. Instead, he chose to laugh it off, to find the humor in a potentially humiliating situation. The incident, brief as it was, left a lasting impression on me. It was a poignant reminder of our shared humanity, even in the most awkward situations. We all have our moments of vulnerability, our times when we feel exposed or caught off guard. It's how we handle those moments that truly defines us. As the initial shock wore off and people returned to their routines, I found myself reflecting on the broader implications of what I'd just witnessed. In our daily lives, we put up so many barriers: physical, emotional, and social. We carefully curate our public personas, presenting only the parts of ourselves that we want others to see. But underneath it all, we're all fundamentally the same: vulnerable, imperfect, and human. The locker room incident served as a metaphor for those moments in life when our carefully constructed facades slip away, revealing our true selves to the world. It's in these moments of unplanned authenticity that we often connect most deeply with others. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to show our imperfections, we open the door to genuine human connection. As I finished changing and prepared to leave the gym, I noticed that the atmosphere in the locker room had shifted. The earlier awkwardness had given way to a sense of camaraderie. People were smiling more, exchanging knowing glances. The shared experience, as uncomfortable as it had been, had created a bond among us. We were no longer just strangers occupying the same space. We were a group of people who had witnessed something extraordinary together. I found myself wondering about the guy who had been at the center of it all. How would this experience affect him? Would he look back on it with embarrassment, or would he see it as a funny story to share with friends? I hoped it would be the latter. His ability to laugh at himself in that moment was truly admirable, a quality that many of us could benefit from cultivating. As I walked out of the gym and into the bright afternoon sunlight, I felt a renewed appreciation for the unpredictability of life. We never know what each day might bring, what unexpected events might unfold. It's easy to get caught up in our routines, to go through the motions without really engaging with the world around us. But moments like the one I just witnessed serve as a wake-up call, jolting us out of our complacency and reminding us to stay present and engaged. The incident in the locker room also made me reflect on the concept of body image and societal expectations. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with idealized images of the human form, it was refreshing to see a moment of raw, unfiltered reality. The guy's body wasn't perfect, whose is? But his confidence and good humor made him more attractive than any airbrushed model could ever be. I found myself hoping that this experience might help others in the locker room that day to be a little more accepting of their own bodies, a little less self-conscious about their perceived flaws. After all, if this guy could laugh off being completely exposed in front of a room full of strangers, surely the rest of us could be a bit kinder to ourselves about that extra bit of belly fat or those legs we wish were more toned. As I drove home, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had witnessed something truly special. It wasn't just about the physical exposure, it was about emotional vulnerability, about the power of laughter to diffuse tension, and about the unexpected ways in which we connect with others. I realized that life is full of these small, seemingly insignificant moments that have the power to shift our perspective if we let them. The guy in the locker room probably had no idea of the impact his mishap and subsequent reaction had on those around him. He was just living his life, dealing with an awkward situation as best he could. But in doing so, he had inadvertently taught all of us a valuable lesson about resilience, humor, and the human spirit. In the days that followed, I found myself thinking back to that moment in the locker room often. It became a touchstone for me, a reminder to approach life's awkward moments with humor and grace. When I found myself in potentially embarrassing situations, I would think of that guy's laughter echoing off the locker room walls, and it would give me the courage to face my own moments of vulnerability with a smile. The incident also made me more aware of the silent struggles that others might be facing. We never know what battles someone else is fighting, what insecurities they're grappling with. The guy in the locker room reminded me of the importance of kindness and empathy, of creating spaces where people feel safe to be their authentic selves, flaws and all. As time passed, the memory of that day in the locker room became a sort of personal parable for me. Whenever I found myself taking life too seriously, getting caught up in trivial worries or insecurities, I would think back to that moment. It served as a reminder to laugh more, to worry less about what others think, and to embrace the unpredictable nature of life. In the end, what stuck with me most wasn't the shock of the initial incident, but the way in which a potentially mortifying moment was transformed into something positive through the power of laughter and good humor. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, to our capacity to find light even in the most awkward of situations. As I sit here now, recounting this story, I'm struck by how such a brief, seemingly insignificant event could have such a lasting impact. It's a reminder that life's most profound lessons often come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes, all it takes is a dropped towel and a hearty laugh to remind us of our shared humanity and the beauty of embracing life in all its imperfect glory.